All right, now we're ready to get to work. One of the first things I want to do is make sure that I get some money from my client. Once you perform services rendered, you cannot get that back. So it's a really good idea to get the money in advance and then to bill against that. So I am going to go ahead and ask for the first two phases of design. Pre-design moves pretty quickly, and it's a lot of like internal back-end things. So I want to make sure that I have enough to at least get through to the first presentation. Now, you may do it differently. That is perfectly fine. Some people just have a flat fee and they ask for all of that at once, or maybe they ask for 50% of the flat fee. Some people ask for it in the form of an invoice as opposed to a retainer like I'm going to do. However you do it, that's perfectly fine. I'm just going to move you through the process as I do it. So I'm going to go ahead and ask for both pre-design and schematic design. I want to be able to get all the way through that first presentation so that we end on a high. I send them an invoice when everybody's super excited. And then at the same time, I can ask for a new retainer for the next phase of design. So let's just go ahead and do that. I want you to know that not everybody has access to be able to send an invoice or a retainer or any type of request for money. The owner certainly does, and anybody that the owner grants specific billing access to. So I'm just going to say new, and I would like to request mine in the form of a retainer, and then I'll invoice against that. I'm going to choose my client. This is a demo client, and I'm going to call this Design Services Retainer, and I want to make sure we're clear that this is for pre-design, schematic design. I already jotted down that number of what those two phases total, so that is 18,135. Here is just asking me if I want to allow the client to be able to pay by either credit card or ACH. And I do. I want to give my clients all the options to be able to pay. I want that part to be super easy for them. So when they get this, they will just be able to click and pay, easy breezy. Here, it's asking me if I want to cover the charges, the platform fees for using those options, and I can choose one or both. I might say that I want my client to pay the platform fees for using any type of credit card, and I will go ahead and cover the fee for using an ACH. I'll turn that off. There's a little button here that says platform fee guide. You can get a little bit more information if you want to click on that. Same over here if you want to get detailed information about rates. So here's the fee that I want to request. I'm requesting it in the form of a retainer, and I'm just going to send that off. I don't need to set up reminders for that. I'll just click send. Now, I just want to assume that my client has actually paid me, and this will change here. Deposits held will change from 0 to our full amount. I'll just click I received a payment, and I'll say, since I'm doing this manually, that they sent me a check. And then I want the client to receive a payment confirmation just so they know I received the check and it's processed. All right, so now I see that I have, not deposits, excuse me. I have retainer funds available. Retainers and deposits are just two different types of holding accounts, two different ways that you will apply funds. So a retainer is basically like a bucket of funds that can be allocated as you see fit. It's great for things like services. External labor, things like that. Deposits are more specific. I request a deposit when I want those funds applied to something very specific, like a product, and that will stick to that product. So there's just different reasons to use the different things. For the design services, the retainer is the perfect choice for me. So now I've got these funds held on retainer. I am actually going to go back to my scope, and I'm going to start moving forward. I can invite the client at this early stage. Once they've paid the retainer, we're engaged and we're working together. It's up to you when you do that, or if you do that. It should not impact how you work in Materio in terms of it should not limit your ability to do anything. You should be able to do all the things that you need to do in Materio, whether your client is activated or not. You can also choose when you want to activate that client. So I'll generally activate that client after the first meeting so that I have a chance to prepare them, and then they come into a sort of well-furnished space. But depending on how you work, you might want to go ahead and activate that client now. Just so you know, you do that by clicking share, and then you just say invite client, and you would choose your client. And then you would set your pricing visibility. You determine how you want this client to see pricing. You may want them to see only by category or location, like totals that way. You may want to be fully transparent and let them see everything, including your markup. I would generally choose prices on each item, which allows them to see the prices for each item, but not my markup and not the things that are sort of behind the veil. They could just see a lump sum for the entire project. So you can go through these and determine which is best for you. You also have some additional settings about how you want to collaborate with your client and what they should see or be able to do. And you can set their for how often they should give notifications from Materio. They're going to receive notifications when you send them something directly, like a request for approval. But then there's other decisions that you can set, maybe end of day, so that they get it all in one lump. But I will let you look into that and decide like which you want to set for your client. I'm going to set my pricing visit as per item, prices on each item. And I'm going to say on my collaboration settings that I want them to be able to see the timeline. I don't need them to design and product options to me, and I don't need them to be able to see attachments because I have a final deliverable where I present them with all the attachments that I want them to have, and I don't need them to see the product sources. They could, it's totally up to you. So I'm just going to leave those off. And then for client notifications, I'm going to say comments that mention them. I'm going to say everything at the end of the day. All other clients, never, comments never, just ones that mention them. Say selection decisions. I'm going to say end of day for everything so they're not bombarded. Floor plan changes, never. And field notes posted, end of day. So that's how I have mine set up. If ever I want to see how a client is going to see something or experience something, I can actually just click here and I can say view as, and it will take me into the view that the client will see. So as you can see right now, they'll see these numbers. All right, and I'll just exit out of that. Oh, because I invited the client maybe earlier than I would normally, just so we went through that exercise. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that I still have room to sort of work behind the veil before I introduce my client to certain information. With that in mind, I actually want to hide the scope for my clients. So I'm putting it into draft. This will not be visible. So when I go view as client, they cannot see the scope. As you can see, that's not visible there anymore. All right. So we're just going to get out of that. But that's just because I want a chance right now to just be able to play and sort of decide on a few things, try a few things before I'm ready to publish it. So now let's go ahead and let's introduce our floor plan and let's get some visuals going. Let's start to build this out. So I'm going to upload my floor plan. This is going to be very early stages just because I just would have done some, initial site documentation and some initial early space planning. So this is just really a starting point. Just so you know, I use rayon.design for my drafting software. I love it. It's very easy, has a low learning curve, and it produces a result that is visually pleasing to me and lets me do everything I need to do. So that's what I'm using here. I pulled a template from Rayon to be able to use in this demonstration, and I may make changes to this. So it's early stages again. I may say, that I want a few additional pieces, or maybe I want to look at how this bathroom is set up and I want to change that. So for now, this is enough for me to be able to have this floor plan in front of me, see the space that I'm working with, although the space may change. I can have a starting point. So what I want to do is I want to go in and I want to start adding just at least the sort of line items, the things that I think need to be included here. So we're going to focus in on this space here, just the bedroom, just for the demonstration purposes. We're not going to go into the bathroom, the closet, or the office. We're going to focus just on the primary bedroom area. So I'm going to start to add in some line items that I can see need to be included here. I'm going to change this from design services to furniture. There we go. And I'm going to say we have a king bed. And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to say I need 2 nightstands. And I have a lot of space between the foot of this bed and the wall. So I'm going to add a dresser in here. I'm going to add 2 ottomans. And then we're going to need a rug here. So I'm going to change from furniture to soft goods. So I go back up to where it says primary bedroom, add item to primary bedroom because I don't want to keep adding to furniture anymore. And I'm going to say soft goods. And I'll just say rug. For right now, I'm not going to even say the size because we have more work to do to figure out exactly like what size we're going to want. And then I'm going to need at least some lighting. So let's add in electrical categories. And I want to say sconces maybe. And I want to say chandelier. So in my primary bedroom, let's go ahead and collapse everything and just open up our primary bedroom only. I have my electrical, I have sconces. I want to change that to 2. And I have 1 chandelier. I have 1 king bed. I need to change this to 2. Nightstands, 1 dresser, and 2 ottomans. So that's like a really good start. I may even want to have a table lamp on my dresser. That's a good idea as I come into the space. This plan doesn't even have like an entry into my space. I'm going to assume it's going to be like over here. We're going to need to change that. So let's just add a table lamp. So I'm going to go back under primary bedroom. I'm going to add, because don't forget I have that decorative lighting. I want a table lamp. It might be an accent lamp. Okay, so that's what we need to get started. And I want to point out that there are, and I think I mentioned this before, but there are 3 layers of financial planning when it comes to Materio in the scope, and that is budgeting, estimating, and approved. So the budget numbers come from like early initial, just sort of thinking about how this needs to be broken out. Maybe the client gave you a budget and said, our hard ceiling is 175,000. And then if that's the case, you want to make sure that you're sort of tracking what you're planning to introduce to them against that total number. So I'll just show you how to do that. I'm going to go here under this little donut here, and this will pop up and it'll say edit budget. And you can edit by location or by category. You can't do both. You have to choose one or the other. So I just sort of set up a project total of 200,000, and then I broke out the rooms all like this in my space. You do not have to do this. Some people skip this step. They do not want to have budgeted numbers. They just build the project budget as they go. That's totally fine. And really, I use mine more for category because I will add in things like I will want to have like a cost for design services or white glove storage and delivery. You don't have to fill in all the numbers. So if I was viewing by location and I only wanted to work on the primary bedroom, I could just include a budget for that, and I could set this at 0. I could set this at 0. And you see what happens is that when I take that out, then I just have the room primary bedroom is at 55,000, and I have everywhere else. It falls into a bucket for me to allocate. But again, I'm going to stick with by category so that I have design services. I had that at 65,000. And we're going to need to increase this, I think, if we're going to make this work. Let's say 250,000. All right. And then I could continue to add additional cost based upon expectations that I set with my client. And maybe I only just even want to include this. And I might say, I have no idea what it would be at this point for these 3 spaces. I would assume it'd probably be less than this. But anyways. So this will just help me understand when I am paying invoices for white glove storage and delivery, whether I'm hitting that target or going over it or not. But these 2 are the ones that I'm really kind of most concerned with. So that's what I'm going to use my budget for. And then I'll just click save. So that way, when I view by category, I can actually see on design services, hey, I'm pretty close. Like I'm just right over. So it's actually saying that I'm at 100.5% of my allocated total. And then I could see the breakdown. I could see exactly what percent of the budget each phase is taking up. So that's super helpful for me. I don't have anything for white glove storage and delivery yet because I have no line items there. And I might include those later down the line. So those are the 2 that I'll use for budget. And then I'll start estimating. That's the second layer, whereas I'm going to start saying how much things cost that are going to add up to a total for either a room or a category. So now that we've got that kind of going, I'm going to go back to plan by location, and we are going to be focusing on just this bedroom area here. All right. And so now I want to get some visuals going. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a board. So I'm just going to say new board, and my logo comes up automatically, which is great. So I'm going to give my board a background color that's in line with my brand. Okay, there we go. So now my board is this color, and I'm going to just start to just pull some visuals. Now, don't forget that I have my visuals in my library. So I'm going to say add product, and I'm going to pull from library, and I'm going to be specifically looking for those inspiration images. So I'm just going to look through here. I have bedrooms. As you can see, I've titled them this way so that I can easily look at them, and it's in alphabetical order. So hey, this one looks right for me. I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to try to size this a little bit. And I want to tell it that I want it to fill the box, looking good. All right. Okay, and then I'm going to make this just a touch bigger so we can see it. All right, now I want to just start pulling from my library of things that can actually come together in this room. So this already is a good representation of, like, you know, sort of what I'm envisioning. You know, it has sconces, it has the chandelier, it has the bed, it has two ottomans. So I am just going to start playing. So I'm going to say add product, and let's maybe start with lighting. We're just going to get some things on the board, or bed. Let's start with bed. So I'm going to go to furniture, and I am going to be looking for king beds. This one will do just fine. I like that. Now let me go to queen beds and see if there's anything that I like. I like that one too. But I know I can get it in a queen, so I'm going to be perfectly fine with that. And then let me see if I have any other images here that might be better. I like that one. I think I'm going to use that one. And I'm going to get rid of this one. I don't need that one. So we're just going to use this guy here. Yeah, it already has a transparent background, so I don't need to take that off. And then let's go pull something. Let's pull some fabrics. So I'm going to go to my samples here for fabric and see if there's anything that appeals to me. Definitely this one. Even this one. This one. That's good. That one. And that one. All right. Okay, so we've got some fabrics here, and I think this is just kind of really nice. Goes with sort of what we're looking at over there. I am good with that. I'm going to keep on going. I'm just getting some ideas here. I could say that I want my bed to be this, but I think for right now, I'm going to stick with this sort of simple representation of my inspiration starting points. All right, so we're just going to keep playing. Now let's add some art. How about that? I'm going to go to accessories. I'm going to go to art. And let's choose maybe this. Let's choose this, this, this. And this. All right, and we'll just see what we like. Right, so here we go, here we go, here we go, and here we go. I'm not sure about the yellow. What do you guys think? Not really sure. I'm going to take that out. This is a bit, it's nice. I don't like that one. That's maybe a bit boring for that. All right, let's just go with this for now. Again, we're going to choose something for the client that's more specific. But right now, I also need lighting and a rug. So I'm going to go and I'm going to pick from my electrical. And I need sconces and I need a chandelier. But I am really good with this chandelier, 30-inch. All right, we're going to choose that one. I want to see if there's any other images. It might just be the one. Yeah, that's the one. And then I want to remove this background. I know that right off top. I lost my show background because I lost my post here. And let's go get a rug. Oh, and sconces. Pick from library. I need sconces. Let's see. What do we like? What do we like? And this is nice. And this is nice. So we'll choose those. Let's see what we like. I think probably that one is fine. Let's see if we can remove the background off that one. All right, so now we're gonna get a rug. Pick from library. I'm going to choose soft goods and rug. And let's choose, this is kind of nice, as is this one, as is this one. That one, as is that one. All right, let's see what we like with it. That's a little too the same color. So I'll get rid of that guy. He is kind of nice, has a nice little texture. Ooh, he has a nicer texture. And this one's nice too, and this one's nice too. I kind of like the earthy. So we'll just choose that one. Again, could be anything, but we're just getting some vibes going. Okay, so I'm going to take a few minutes to play with this and organize this, and then I'll come right back to you. Okay, so this will do for now. I mean, we're just doing this quick demonstration, so I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I just wanted to really quickly just drop in some images that sort of reflect what my inspiration idea is. So this is just a starting point that we can then start to build from and work from and make it more unique. So I just went over to Nano Banano and changed the finish of this light fixture. And then I went and edited this to be something that's going to be a little bit more in line, like hit a few more notes. So I'll just show you that. We're going to update this. I'm going to give this a title, Bedroom Inspiration. Okay, that's the mood board. And then because I already have this color already selected and my logo on here, I'm just going to actually go and I'm going to say duplicate this board, and then I'll go to that one, I'll click edit, and I'll get rid of this, and then I'm going to upload an image. Okay, so now we have this updated image, and I want to fill that box, and then we're going to make it bigger. As you can see, I changed the art, I changed the light fixture, I changed this fixture. So, because that's actually something that I have from one of my preferred vendors. Anyways, we're just playing with this. I'm not sure that I actually made this image any better in this demonstration, but I just wanted to quickly play with some just to show you how I would create these boards. And I can add this light fixture here. Let's add this product here from library. It's actually this one. I just put that in for my preferred vendor. And let's see what happens if let's see what the best version of this is. I think it's this one. Let me remove the background. There we go. Okay. And then I am going to, I want to fill this image. That helps me move it around a little bit easier. So I might just have this one as an option too. The thing is, I think like on this board, I like the other one better, but I kind of just want to not show it now. And I just want to plant some seeds as to what I might want to show later. So anyhow, just playing, quickly tinkering, creating some very quick mood boards based upon what was already in my library. And I'll just change this bedroom mood board. And I might just want some vibes, like a whole vibes board. So let me do that. Let's do a new board. All right, then let's go to add product. And I want to just pick a few things. This is actually a nice color here for my vanity because I already have those colors in the bedroom. So let's go do that again. I'm going to upload that one image. Okay. Fill this. And then we're going to move this much bigger. Okay, so let's just say those are our vibes for our whole space. I'll say mood. It's better to say mood. All right. So there we go. So now we have some boards going on. You know, we have some visuals. I'm actually going to create a stack so that all these visuals are in the same place. So I just drag those over there, and I'm going to say rename stack, and I'm going to say mood boards. Now, that is enough for us to start choosing some actual things to be able to say like, okay, I kind of get the vibes. Just so you know, if I'm looking at this stack, I can toggle through what is in this stack. So if I start here and I want to say, okay, and like, I just want to get the feel for what's happening here. So that's what we're looking at. And then we have our floor plan. So we kind of know like what we need to do. So I feel like now we have like a really great starting point to be able to start adding some things. So let's just do that. I'm going to go into sconces, and I am going to start to make some selections, and I'm going to mark the floor plan too. So let's go in there, and I'm going to pick from my library to get us started. I want to go into sconces so I can make that quick. And I think the two that I'm interested in are, these are very similar, but from a side view, this might actually be a better one. And I also really liked this one here. And let's also do, where is the one that I wanted? This one. There we go. So we have 3, and then I want to mark the plans to show it where it is. So it says no plan markers. I'm going to edit that, and I just want to choose a point, and I'm going to put that marker here and here because they're on the inside. They're not actually like sitting on the table. And in order to set an estimate, like first of all, I'm going to go through and I'm going to set these kind of options that I want. This is just like what I'm thinking. So I can see that my favorite one is actually this one. So I'm actually going to set my estimate for that one. I'm going to use a product as an estimating placeholder, and I'm going to choose this one. Okay. And then I'm just going to save. So we're going to go back out. So now when I look at my sconces, I have 2, right? And I have an estimate for them. So this is different than budget. We're starting to estimate actual product costs. And is the numbers in the primary bedroom are going to start to change. Right now, this is the only number that I have there. This will start to change. So when I look at my options, the client is going to be able to see that this one is right on target. It's like not over under. So I'm basically setting my targets now by kind of deciding like what I want to start initially thinking about as product. And it may just be like, this is, going to be the right, price target or, level of quality or style, but there's going to be something that I'm going to say, this is going to be anchoring sort of what we expect to hit at this for this particular item. This one will not show as over or under, but this one will show a little bit under, and this one will show a little bit over. When the client is making their decision, they can choose based upon that. Now we're going to keep doing that. Now let's go into the chandelier and let's choose that. I'm going to pick from library, and I am going to say this one. We want the 30-inch one. And let's say we could choose a couple of other things as well. This one is also nice. Like that one. And this one is nice. Okay. So let's choose these 3. And now the one that I really want is this one. And this is significantly higher in cost. So we're gonna make sure that that's the one that we want to present. Pick item as an estimating placeholder. And I'm going to select this one. I'll save. So this is what this is starting to look like. I'm just going to keep moving a little bit down the line here, and I'm going to come right back to you. So I got to a place where there's something that I want to show you. I have marked the location for my sconces and also my poofs. I need to mark the location for my chandelier, which is going to be like right there. And when I get to something where I want to use the area, it's going to ask me to set the scale for my floor plan. So let's go to the rug. I want to add a floor plan marker, and I want to use area. So I want to set the scale. I'm going to choose like a known dimension, and I'll say that that's this here, this bed. Actually, it's going to be more than that. It's going to be 7. That's where I do that. I just will find a known dimension, and sometimes there'll be something already marked on the floor plan so that I can then set the scale. And I'll click save, and it'll ask me, do I want to save as a project default for this page only? I'm going to save for this page only. This is the only page I have. So there we go. My scale is now set. So that way, when I take a dimension, I'll make sure that it's accurate. But also too, as you can see where I'm about to choose the area for this rug, I'm going to use the area tool and I'm going to click save, and it's going to say, do you want me to update the markers or the estimate? But I only want to update the marker. I want to add this rectangle as a marker, but I don't want to update the estimate because I don't want like 89.93 square feet worth of rug. I just want 1 unit of rug. So I don't want it to change my quantity. I just want to update the marker. So I'll just update the marker. And I'm going to do the same thing. I need to add in something from my library for the rug. And I think we were looking at a couple of things we really like. This and this. This is also nice. I didn't see that before. There we go. We'll choose these 4. All right. And then let's just say this is the one. Oh, they're samples. So I'm going to need to change that. Well, I need to get a quote for this. I'm going to get rid of these. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. And I'm going to say that this unit cost is, I'm going to say 13,000. It's going to be a lot. Okay. And then it's going to include my markup and it's going to include my client tax. So I'm just going to start with a number because I need to get this quoted before I add those selections in. So I'll just click save. So now I have my rug marker. I have a cost in here, which means I have an estimated amount for that rug, but I actually need to get quotes and then I'll add those options in there. I need a table lamp that's going to sit on my dresser, and I need a dresser. Let's go ahead and choose one, pick from library. I'm just going to choose this one. This looks great. And I'm going to set the floor plan marker for that. I'm going to use the area tool again, and I'm just going to say that it's over here. Okay, and it's going to say save just the marker. And then we want to put a lamp on there. So, and I'm actually going to get rid of the nightstands. I actually like how we have some built-in millwork around the bed in our inspiration image. So I'm going to get rid of the nightstands and I'm going to opt for millwork instead. So I am going to go to primary bedroom and I'm going to add custom millwork. Okay, and yeah, it's going to be a product selection. We'll draw it out. Okay, so there we go. So now we have millwork added and we're going to need to include something for that. And our rug is just an estimate and we need now a table lamp. So let's go get that. I'll go into accessories and then I'll go into decorative lighting. Let's look at accent and table lamp. Something like this is kind of nice. Let's also look at table lamps. This is nice. We've got some options there and I am going to pick something. I'm going to pick this as the estimating placeholder. So let's go pick a product as an estimating placeholder and we're going to go back to decorative lighting. And I think that was in table lamps and there we go. Save, let's add a marker. I just want the point and we're going to put it right there. We got a number of selections. Let's go ahead and add a king bed from library. And I want beds king. We're going to use this one. We'll give this one and this one as an option as well. But I have that one set up as my estimating placeholder. So we're good. I just need to add a marker for it. Oops, area, excuse me. Okay. Save just the marker. Now we have our electrical finishes. So we're up here. So far we're at 53. It's not too bad. We've got a few more things to add, but we do have numbers in here. Let's add in a number for our millwork and let's just say that's going to be 18.5. And our markup, yeah, let's have that as a product essentially. I'm going to leave it like that. Probably I'm at 78, so I might need to come down a little bit based upon like sort of where I was thinking. But I feel okay about this and continuing to sort of work and get more quotes and hone in some numbers and then decide like what I need to value engineer out or down. So this is what we're going to start with. And let's just say we're going to go into our first presentation with our client, or we're going to talk to them about our ideas, and then they're going to come back with some approvals. So that'll be what we do next. I'll see you in the next video.